And then the sportsman races, I think, is 3,000 pounds. But I'm not changing my car for any of those races. They're gonna gonna cross the scale about 3,400 pounds.
So for example, if the Iron Giant, the Checkers Falls, you're in first place, you roll across that scale and you're with an open motor, you're at $32.99. You're done. DQ.
No gray area.
Perfect. That's the way it should be. We all know the rules. The rules are right there. Everybody knows.
It's out there. You heard it here first on Northwest Dirt News. Yep. $32.99 with an open motor.
We'll get you a big zero.
We'll get you a big old Monopoly check.
That's right. That's right.
$5,400 in your wallet?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're out, no kidding,
$5,400. I'm pretty sure that enough singles and
no kidding,
that could weigh a pound or two.
Good point, Roger. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
So if you do win, make sure you get up in that soft, sticky stuff. There's a cushion up there and drive through it. You better pick up all you can. Pick up all you can.
Victory laps, victory cookies. Go through the kart track a couple times.
Mm-hmm. April, she blew up her motor one time. We borrowed a car from a buddy, and
Murphy?
It was one of Froggy's cars.
Okay. Back
when they were racing street stocks. It was a nice 66 Chevelle. It was probably the nicest car they ever had. We took that car, and before we even raced it, we put it across the scales. That thing was like 70 pounds light.
Oh, jeez.
This was with a full tank of gas, too.
Wow. With the driver in it.
Yeah. So we backed it up to a mud pile, and we started piling mud in the trunk of that sucker. We did. We pounded about 80 pounds of mud in that thing until it weighed, and she was good to go.
There you go.
But you don't have lead or something with you. You got to do something.
That's right.
To make it right. So
yeah,
that clay is heavy.
It adds up quick.
Yes, it does.
That's no joke. I remember.
Or good Oregon clay, that is.
Well, I'll tell you that stuff they have down there at Bakersfield is.
Yeah.
We went down there after we got back from Eldora, and we raced an open comp race with the big sideboards, and Maya was there, and Goulet, and all the top California guys, and late models with the wings, sprint car wings and sideboards and sprint car tires in the right area. It was pretty crazy. They watered the track, and I'm not kidding you guys. It took 2 hours to pack the track. There was so much water on. You guys have seen that black. It's just a real black, weird clay they get off the grapevine. I was scraping that car for Hawks, and I'll bet you I scraped 400 pounds of clay off that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just picking up these, just taking these chunks off the car. I mean, that was so heavy. I mean, guys were like trying to walk them out and drop them so they could come by and scoop it up. I mean, it was so heavy. And I'm thinking, man, if a guy is light, drive through there and pick it up. You're going to be okay.
That clay actually comes from the drains
of the grapevine.
On the grapevine,
yep.
Yeah.
The plant.
So it's what washes down out of the mountains.
Yeah. So you guys start talking about how heavy the clay is. Think about using that as a tuning tool. I'm not going to lie. I've done it.
Yeah, when we scrape our cars, we start in the front end.
Yeah, you can start doing that. You start thinking about you need to add a little weight here. Well, I'm going to scrape a little less here. Change your. You don't have lead at the track, and it's not hard. It's not easy to throw. Especially on these modifieds.
Right.
You need to add lead to the left rear, for instance. Where are you going to bolt it to? You got 3 bars back there if you're running a brake floater.
Scrape
yeah, but what if it gets hot and it vibrates and falls off?
Yeah, but you were still. But think about.
I know what you're talking about. I get it.
It takes 5 laps for it to heat up and dry up and fall off. There's 5 laps where your percentages were just a little bit better. How much ground can you make up in 5 laps?
Rick, how much ground can you make up in 5 laps?
You make quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 laps.
Especially if you're like Rob and John and some of those guys,
Yeah.
and stuff. You just don't lift.
You don't lift.
But,
yeah.
No, we went to Marysville. Oh shoot, it must have been 7 years ago, and that's when Craig Castle was helping me, and they watered that thing so heavy it took us 2 hours to get it dry to pack it in, and it actually took the decks and it was pulling the decks down on our cars. It was so much mud on there, and Craig was like waving, trying to get us off the track, me and John off the track and everything else, and we tried to get off the track, and they would not let us off the track. They stood right on the exit and said no, pointed back down and said get on. I was like, are you serious? This is ridiculous. But it was pretty tough. I mean, I wasn't exactly the nicest. I kind of let him have a little shot out the rear of my car. But Craig kind of laughed at me and was like, "Dude, you should have did that." I was like, "Yeah, I know, probably not." But it was definitely. I mean, you can add a lot of weight real quick. And on late models, we spend hours, getting the weight exactly where we want it and stuff. And You go around a track a couple times, and you can mess up a car pretty quick.
Really, you can.
Absolutely.
Every time I've seen a track like that, it was hammer down after that, though.
And it
You better
usually,
have a
right.
big motor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
when you got a track,
Yep.
you got to water in like that. It's a lot of fun.
When you what?
Bring back the J cars.
Well, I everybody loved them.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's always when we have a track like that, I'm always glad to see the street stocks on the list because 3,300 pounds on a wide, well, what used to be a wide tire, that helps pack the track down in a hurry.
Yeah,
No more.
that's,
We don't have the white tires now.
I know.
what do you think about the G60? I mean, on the street stocks at those 3 races, how do you think that's going to change the drivers that are making the transition from slicks to G60s?
I've been reading a lot about them. I'm gonna keep my slicks, but we're gonna try the G60s. I want to see what they can do. Learn some tricks this winter on them, so we're gonna see what we can do.
Well, and you've got friends that run modifieds. I'm sure you've been, trying to get as much info out of them as you can about the G60. I mean, it's not a new tire to us out here in the Northwest. They've been around for a while, ever since we made the switch to IMCA, with going straight with the Hoosier G60s. Now, I can't remember, is it Hoosier G60 specifically, or can you run
I think it's Hoosier only.
Hoosier only?
Yep.
Yeah,
So you
but
can't run the
Hoosier
American
only.
racers.
It's a Hoosier tire rule.
What's the feedback from all the other guys that are going to be doing this with the G60s?
I thought it's been fairly mixed. There's been guys that have been on them for a while that really like them because now they understand them, and there's guys that are making that transition that are, we don't want to do that, and
There's cost involved too. Is quite a difference.
If you want to get 8 rims and 8 tires for your car, it's about $2,000.
new,
That's if you want to compete.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing too is that you're not running. Some of these cars are not 5-on-5; they're 5-on-4 and 3/4, 5-on-4.5.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be running the same. In some instances, you can't just go up to a modified guy and say, "Hey, you're getting new wheels. Can I buy your used wheels?"
Yeah, make sure it's the right wheel.
You got to make sure it's the right wheel. So, I have one of my coworkers has been building a street stock this winter, and he's been coming to me, "Hey, what size are your wheels? Do you have any wheels? What about tires?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't crew on that car anymore, so but I'll see what I can dig up for you."
Offsets too are a big thing.
Offsets are huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
And so then you start thinking, running the G60 on a 10-inch rim versus an 8-inch rim. You have some options with the G60 with the street stocks that we don't have with the modified. So I'm really interested to see what it's going to do. I really am.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see because you got guys like the Sunset guys have been on G60s for a couple years now.
Yeah.
Case and Roden and those guys that's what they're used to. So when at those G60 races,
You think you give them the advantage there, at least
this count
first
them
year.
in as a serious contender, which I mean they are anyway. They're fast.
But at the same time, hasn't Evans been running G60s for a while?
He ran them for a year. I know he ran them for a full season, and for here's the thing about which surprised me because I had a conversation with him about this after the whole thing came up, and he says, there wasn't a whole lot of difference on our car with him. I mean, he said there wasn't a whole lot of difference from the G60 to the slicks, and maybe that's just Justin being Justin, but
Another thing about the Sunset guys is they opened the motor rule up for them this year.
Which is good.
So we were all in the same motor rule, which is really cool.
now here's an interesting question. This is put up by Moxie Mike Patterson down in California. He says, can you use a combination of both the G60 and the slick
We can at the other tracks.
at the other tracks?
Yep.
The isn't
The 3 main tracks are G60s only.
right. So the other tracks where, like, say you go to Madras, and a guy wants to run a G60 on the right rear and a slick on the left.
Do whatever
rear.
you want.
There you go.
Do whatever you want.
I don't think you'll see anybody do that, but
No, I don't see it either.
But-
I don't suggest it either.
I've seen some weird things in race. Yeah,
what are you talking about?
exactly. But I've seen some guys
You don't want to mix tires?
G60s and slicks.
Why not?
I'm just saying, I don't see it happening. I just don't see that happening. But
Hey.
I've seen some weird things in racing. So.
Maybe I'm trying to stir the pot. Maybe I'm stirring the pot here, but why not? A 10-inch wide tire versus an 8-inch wide tire?
Well, you're going to have the stagger.
You're going to have stagger. You're going to have
But
different
you got
tread
a lot
patterns.
smaller footprint.
Think about it.
A lot smaller footprint.
With the first of 5400, who's not running new tires every race.
Right. Well, right.
Yeah, and that's the thing is who's going to go out there and get the runoffs from the modified drivers, and who's going to go out there and spend the money and buy brand spanking new Hoosiers.
Right. Which is going that adds up quick. $130 a tire. That's
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people are spending a lot of money on street stocks to get these things ready.
That is the class that has absolutely exploded over the last 2-3 years here in the Northwest, and
It seems like we go in these little
it does.
rhythms. That
Everybody
class,
went late models for 5, 6, 7. You know, you have 60
modifieds
late
for like
models,
5 years,
and now the modifieds are, another one of those classes that are just taken off. And then right behind them, here comes the street stocks. Everybody's going to it because of this Chris Sine guy putting up big money. And
Man.
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see who does what with
the talent
tires.
in the class is going to be crazy. I mean, within a couple of drivers, you got so many people have won so many championships and feature wins, and I mean, the class is going to be crazy. How many feature wins are in these classes?
Well, and how many champions are going to be former champions in the feature or in the dash, or
multiple champions.
Yeah, it's going to
Exactly.
Yep, it's going to be awesome. So, 7:42. We'll take a break at 7:45 with a final commercial break, and we'll come back with the final segment of the show. So, it's been cool having all you guys in the studio tonight. This has been Warren's back at the buffet.
Dude.
Look at him. Jeez.
Yeah, Flags and Chris Sine took your mic, and you're back at the buffet table. Hey, dude, and I tried to get the mic out of Jeremy's hand. I tried to look at that. I tried to trade him a flag for
He
the
did,
mic.
and he threw the flag down.
He threw the flag at me.
He did. It was a checkered flag, though.
I know.
But look, all this food that Roger That Barbecue brought, we've all eaten twice, and there's still,
times.
3 times. There's still, pounds and pounds of pulled pork and turkey legs
man.
and brisket. There's still 3 cases of brisket over there.
I
Oh
don't know if we have
man,
any brisket left. I know we have some ribs left. I think
the
the
ribs.
brisket's
I see.
all
Yeah,
gone.
I see some ribs. Yeah, the
Yeah.
brisket went pretty quick. Oh,
Man.
Oh yeah.
jeez.
Wait, I think we're gonna have to, pre-race. I think this year, we're gonna have to make a trip to Salem.
Or he can bring it to us.
But you know what? If he works out a deal, he might have his pit
know
sitting
what?
down at the
Well,
Speedway.
No, if you have them bring it back to the announcer's booth again this year, we
Yeah.
might be taking a break from the racing.
Definitely.
Just
Intermission.
We'll be making
Yep.
orders on that. I bet you're going to have a couple $100 coming your way every race.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, I will do a little secret. Anthony Brakall ordered some to his trailer, and I ended up getting in the back, dropped it off, and there's a few people going, "What is that? This is better than pizza."
Yeah. Oh no! Oh
We
no!
got your number, Roger.
We're picking up what you're throwing down.
Brakall's been good though. Brakall had us cater his daughter's wedding.
Right.
He missed that race. I think that was a couple years ago, but I've had a lot of racers in the shop. John Campos' birthday today. John Campos and his wife's been in there.
Yeah.
Brewster's been in there, and we
Your
ended up getting
bathroom.
Ice. Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So last week I called Ice Machine Company out of. Can we do that? Automatic Ice in Newburgh. This guy comes in. He's like, "Oh, just here, install the machine." I was like, "Okay, cool. There it is. He goes into the bathroom at Roger That Barbecue, and he walks back out and he goes, "Who are you?"
Have you seen the bathroom here?
We just became best friends, and I was like, "How's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's Tim Jenner."
Yeah.
Tim Jenner.
You walk in the bathroom at Roger That, and it's got Darren Koffel door panels and Campos, and it's got, door panels, Brewster.
and my old man's hood from 1978. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. It's
Mark.
a lot of race decor there.
TRT, yeah,
So
it's awesome.
Yep.
I still need a few more things out there, so hang them up.
well, I know some guys got some door panels.
Yep.
All right. We're going to go take our final commercial break of the evening. We'll come right back here on Northwest Dirt News from the Jetstream Aqua Massage Studio.
You know, Joel, people have been hearing us talk about Stumbling J Livestock on Northwest Dirt News. Have you talked with Josh lately?
You know, Corey, I did just the other day. He's got a great off-season special going on.
Yes, he does. I was told he's got grass-fed 95% lean burger for $4.50 a pound, 90% lean regular burger $3.75 a pound, and fresh pork breakfast sausage $3 a pound, and they're all available in 1-pound packages.
Really? You know, that's a great opportunity for people like me, Corey, who kind of have an empty freezer because they missed their deer this season.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because your aim was terrible this year.